because of internet, because of television, a child who studies in India is very similar to a child who studies abroad. He has the same value systems, he knows everything what's happening around the world. 20 years ago, if I had met a boy from Jamnagar and a boy from Bombay, there's a 90% difference in their approach to life and their understanding. But now the gap is also closed down. So I think we're becoming universal children. Eventually, it's your postgraduate degree which counts, not your undergraduate degree. Do something which you enjoy at an undergraduate degree. Where you do it is not important. It's how well you do it which is important. Whether you stay in India or abroad doesn't make a difference at all. Anand Mahindra has done film studies at undergraduate degree. Or Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, has done English as undergrad degree. Or Sundar Pichai has done metallurgical engineering as undergrad degree. But because all of them did something which they enjoyed, they excelled. And because they excelled, they all went for MBA to top business schools. I have seen so many cases of mental issues which happen in college, and the child has gone to the wrong college because the parents pushed them to go to that college. Go to a place where your child will be happy. Well, I was talking to one of the admission directors of Ivy League school. He said this year Viral we received 72,000 applications for 2,500 seats.
Wow.
Debates, theatre, all that is fine. But the bottom line is, if that phrase, how we've impacted society at a grassroots level on a sustainable basis, that is what gets you in a good university. How we were scared when internet came. We were scared when emails came. I don't think we should be scared of AI. AI is going to be a big aid. I think we are fearing AI too much in education. I think it's going to be a big aid for us. I know a large number of US universities who are now using AI to evaluate a student, that how much will he perform in college based on his performance in the current school. Earlier years, when we used to apply to America, the postman would come. If he has a big envelope, you've got into the college. If it's a small envelope, that means we reject it. It comes at 11 o'clock in the morning, typically. Here we get the results at 2:30 in the morning. And it's so depressing for a child to get a rejection. And suddenly, two friends who are the closest of friends,
one gets it and the other
hasn't got it. That friendship goes.
Hello everyone, this is Aakash Chaudhry. Today we have a very wonderful guest with us, Mr. Viral Doshi, who has helped thousands and thousands of students over the last 25 years to get them to their dream colleges. An experience that he carries for so many years. Today we will unlock some of those mysteries, some of those dilemmas, some of those questions that you may have in your mind. So let's dive deep into this conversation with Mr. Viral Doshi. Thank you so much, Viral sir, for taking out time today for this interaction. I think this is one of the most important interaction in today's time and age, because there's a lot that is going on in the minds of parents, students, educators, that what's going to happen as we go forward in this very, very different geopolitical situation. AI is set to make a lot of changes, especially in the education space. So all these, dilemmas and questions are going out. And I think with your insights, your experience, a lot of those questions will get answered. So I'm really, really looking forward to this interaction. But before we start, sir, a lot of people have heard about you. They have, seen you help thousands and thousands of students for many, many years. But not many really know, where it all started. I mean, you've been a banker, you've worked in manufacturing. What motivated you to, switch gears and come to education and help students? So where did it all start,
First, let me thank you, Aakash, for having me here. It's very interesting. This is a second career. It's a passion which became a profession.
Gee.
So as you said, when I finished my graduation from Cornell, did banking in New York, always had a itch to come back to India. And those days in the 60s and 70s, remember, you did what your father told you to do. He was an engineer, so I became an engineer.
Absolutely.
But then I went to engineering at Cornell, but decided I wanted to switch into finance, so worked in banking. But the itch was to come back to India. So we came back to India in the 80s, and then we got into manufacturing. But that was a thing to be done, because anybody who did engineering had to set up a small scale or a large scale unit.
Yeah.
So we set up a super alloys plant.
Okay.
And this is making cobalt and nickel alloys.
Mm-hmm.
But over a course of time, when I was doing the manufacturing, the whole search to go to America and going overseas had just begun.
Yeah.
So I should do this as a hobby, helping students, friends.
And they would reach out because you had gone.
Friends. Basically, I had gone, and that time there was only USIS out here. Nobody else was giving any educational advice.
Right.
As a matter of fact, my first person I helped was Farid Zakaria, who was an anchor at CNN. So he was a very dear family friend. So he and his brother were the first people I had helped out. And then over the course of time, manufacturing went on. I used to do this more as a hobby in the evenings of counseling students to go overseas. Then sometime in the late 90s, it became much more competitive in the manufacturing sector, Chinese imports coming in, and we struggled to survive in manufacturing. We had a strike at our plant. And I said, what do I really want to do? Actually, I want to help students. So around late 90s, I pivoted into education.
Okay.
So it was a second career, but it was wonderful because I could follow my passion. And when I decided to switch into education, I didn't just want to send students overseas. I think there was a big call for mentoring students, guiding students. People are so confused with careers.
Yeah.
So I thought my goal is to demystify the whole application process, the education process, and help them out. So when we started of course with sending students overseas. But over the course of years, it has digressed into doing psychometric testing, helping students identify the right career choices, mentoring them as they go through the high school and college life. So typically students come to me at the age of 14 and they're with me till 25. So you become like a life coach to them.
Yes.
So there's a tremendous sense of satisfaction in this business, if I may say. So yes, it's a second career. I'm lucky to have a second career, which became a profession by itself.
No, that is excellent. And I think most parents, I think they feel that there is a lot that they can give to their children in terms of values. But when it comes to career decisions, I think there is a massive, need for helping them out to understand what is the world out there, not what it is today, but what would it be when the children graduate, and
True.
that's something which is very important for them to have a guidance with someone who's been there, done that, and also can, extrapolate where is this all going. Now, in the last 5 years, we have seen a lot has changed globally, especially parents who wanted to send their children outside. So there is a doubt that is coming in terms of, will education outside be same in terms of quality? Will they get their jobs for which they're going? Should they look at options in India? Is hybrid the new way? So there is a lot that is going on. And of course, the whole geopolitical scenario where there is a question mark in terms of how students will be received in the US especially. So what are your thoughts on that? What are you reading with these changes?
I think let's step back and understand, in the last 15 years, I would say in India, the number of students going overseas, especially to America, I've seen a jump of at least 300%.
300%.
And why is that? Affluency has increased in India. Foreign exchange is now freely available. Internet has become a level playing field. And more international schools have come up. Are you aware? India has the 4th highest number of IB schools in the world today.
Oh, wow.
After US, Canada, China, India is 4th today. Unbelievable.
And this is a big driving factor.
Big jump. This has happened in the last 10, 15 years. Yeah. A number of A-level schools, they've got 200 plus A-level schools in this country. So desire to go overseas has increased exponentially. And today people are not applying from Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. It's from small town, from Pilibhit, from Azamgarh, from Viramgam, from Asansol, from Amravati. These are the students who are going to top colleges. So the whole scenario it's become much more competitive than it was in the previous years. As a result, what has happened? Students are floundering. What do we do? Because I think, let's go step by step. Your first question, today if a parent is going to America, America has changed in the last 2 years, as you know. Yeah. I always tell parents, if you're going to America right now, it's like giving your child the experience. You may not get the return on investment. It's an experience. Like when you buy a new car or a new flat, it's the experience of giving their child. Yeah. So go there with a firm principle in mind that you're going to get a great experience. Education is still solid, but you may not get an internship. You may not get a job. So you'll be mentally prepared to come back to India. So if you're looking at return on investment, today, it's not the place to go to today. You're not going to return on investment very quickly, but you're going to get a fabulous experience. But, when people ask, have things changed in the American education system? It hasn't. It's more of a media hype, to be honest with you. The colleges are as good as they were earlier. So I would recommend any parent that if you want to give your child an experience going overseas, it's fabulous. But do you have to go overseas? Not necessarily. Yeah. The second question is, if you can't go overseas, where do you go? If you stay in India, what are the choices? Yeah. The boy wants to do engineering. Getting into a IIT or BITS or a equally good engineering college is so challenging out here. Right. You have limited colleges, but if you look at over the last 15 years, number of high schools are mushroomed. Yes. How many new universities can you name me? Yeah. 8, 10? Ashoka or OP Jindal or Ahmedabad University.
Or
Plaksha. Few and far. That is where the challenge is. That is why by default people are going abroad today. Yes. So I'm a big fan of keeping people back in India, provided you can get admission.
Right.
So when a lot of people come to me, I say, why do you want to go abroad? My first question is, Mr. Doshi, I can't get admission here. Then I say, yes, of course, you should look at going abroad. But given a choice, Indian education has really come of age today, but there are few and far colleges. I want to do liberal arts. I can go to Ashoka. I can go to OP Jindal. I can go to Ahmedabad University or a Flame. How many colleges are there today? That is why when people are looking at going overseas, they want to have a better choice. If you go to America, you have 300 colleges to choose from. So also in England. So, but if you stay back in India, I always tell, let's plan India properly. I'm a big fan of India. I say, let's do 3 years in India, 1 year masters in UK, and perhaps a postgraduate degree like MBA in America. You can eventually, I'm a big believer when anybody comes to me at a young age, I say eventually it's your postgraduate degree which counts, not your undergraduate degree. Do something which you enjoy at an undergraduate degree. Where you do it is not important. It's how well you do it which is important. Whether you stay in India or abroad doesn't make a difference at all. But in today's day and age, if you are able to get in a good Indian college, then it's a big advantage, because if you ever come back to India, you can adapt to India very easily.
Yeah.
But today what has happened, every parent like yourself or myself who have achieved something, you don't want the children to go through the rut of the whole application process in India.
Yeah.
So they are sending the children overseas today. But answering your question, have things changed there? I think jobs have become challenging. Internships have become challenging. But the quality of education remains as
solid
class as it was earlier. It's a big myth that things have changed. And people have all these rumors that there are protests happening in American campuses. It's all rubbish. Eventually, it's all a media hype. We had one protest 3 years ago. There's a protest happening at Columbia. That's not true.
Right.
I think the quality of education is superb overseas. But again, you have to change your mindset. It's not a return on investment. If you're looking at the old model, I'll go to America, I'll study there, then I'll work there for 3-4 years, I'll do my MBA and settle down. That is changing.
That is changing.
And
which was the dreamer, which was the quintessential American dream for.
But not only that, but other flip side is that a lot of people are going abroad, they're coming back to India now because the opportunities in India are tremendous. Yes. As a matter of fact, I've done a reverse migration. People go for undergraduate degree abroad, I bring them back to do an MBA at IIMs or law degree in India. Right. So the best of both.
Right.
They can work in India afterwards because placements are very strong.
Right.
So a good, even reverse migration, when you go to international school, by default, you have to go abroad, sadly. And if you stay back in India, you sort of look down upon, parents can't afford, or, you must not be smart enough. So students go abroad. I said, go abroad, but come back to India for your postgraduate degree. That's a very new thing you can do and really works like a charm. Students have come back and gone to IIMs and law schools out here, have done extremely well. So yes, things are changing. So you're going there for the experience. You're not going there for the return on investment. Remember that. That's a very big change in the last 5 years. Not last 5, last 2 years, I would say. Till last year, it was perfectly fine. But after what has happened last 1 year, it has become a change. Right. I've yet to see students, especially things like computer science, which are so competitive. Children not getting jobs today. So let them come back to India. India has tremendous opportunity. India is the most happening place today.
Yes.
But again, applying to India is not that easy. So then by default, you go overseas, I would imagine.
Right. I think you said two very interesting things. Maybe if I could, go deeper into that. Yeah. You said that you are now suggesting people go for the experience, not the ROI.
Correct.
Are people buying that? Number one. And you also mentioned that, postgraduate degree is something that is more important. Enjoy your undergrad, correct, do something that you like or are interested in, and then your career or your futures, primarily gets decided with your postgraduate.
Absolutely.
So in this day and age of people having access to high quality content, corporates like Google and Meta are rolling out programs and encouraging people, don't go for your postgraduate, do my Google certification, and you're as good as you would like in that space at least. So is postgraduate coming down in its perception, and is the experience something that people are buying now?
I think things like AI, Google, Meta courses are going to be a big help to us. It's going to aid us in what we do. Yeah. You can't replace a doctor with Meta.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't replace a civil engineer with Meta.
Right.
So Meta is going to be a big aid. Google is going to be a big aid. AI is going to be a big aid. I think we are fearing AI too much in education. I think it's going to be a big aid for us. Yeah. If I'm a doctor, if I have AI with me, I can do a diagnosis far sharper and better if I didn't have AI with me. Mm-hmm. So I think AI, like how we were scared when internet came, we were scared when emails came. So I don't think we should be scared of AI. Mm-hmm. I think it's very important that everybody learns AI and uses AI as a tool with whatever you do. So I'm a big fan of AI and all these courses, but don't think children or parents should fear that it's going to replace education. I mean, you can't do research for cancer cells using AI. I mean, you're going to require...
in the lab.
You have to be in the lab at the end of the day. So I think it's a very big fear it's going to replace. It's not going to replace. It's going to be a big aid, I would say. It's going to add to our value in our education. So I think I'm glad that AI has come through. And I mean, so many things with AI is going to change the way we do our work also and the way we do education also. So I think AI is going to be a very important tool, and all schools are starting AI at this age right now. So I think as we grow older, I think it's going to be a big tool. I don't think we should fear any of these courses. I think I would embrace them and use them to do whatever I want to do in the field of education.
Right.
So no, I don't think it's going to replace education. It's going to aid education, I would say.
Absolutely. And on the experience part, are people buying in India now that, you know, it's okay if I don't get a fancy and a fat check job, but I'm okay to come back or just go for the experience?
And honestly, this has been something just recent, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Just been 2 years where this has happened. And people, you know, Indians are always very optimistic. नहीं, जाएंगे उधर, कुछ ना कुछ मिलेगा.
हो जाएगा कुछ.
So they go with that hope.
Yeah.
But they're now getting mentally prepared that children may come back to India. And opportunities are here, which was not the case 20 years ago. When my colleagues in the 60s, 70s went to America, there was nothing out here. So they went there, they prospered out there. But today, because of because of internet, because of television, a child who studies in India is very similar to a child who studies abroad. He has the same value systems. He knows everything what's happening around the world. As a matter of fact, I remember 20 years ago, if I had met a boy from Jamnagar and a boy from Bombay, there's a 90% difference in their approach to life and their understanding. But now the gap is also closed down. So I think we're becoming universal children. So I think if they go there, they would enjoy the whole experience. But answer your question, are they buying the experience? I think they will buy it because eventually they see what is other alternative for them. And to stay back in India, where are they going to go? And today you want to do engineering, your son wants to do engineering. Where is he going to go if he can't crack the JEE? So by default they're going to go, but they will have to be mentally prepared. It's going to be an experience and not an ROI. That is a big change which has happened in the last 15 years, I would say. Up to 5 years ago, I would have said ROI was the thing to do, but not anymore. It is purely going to be your experience they're going to have.
And do you see that the trend still continues to be primarily the US, or Europe and Asia has also started to come up, in the choice that people are making?
That's a very good question. If I look at 100 students go overseas every year, I would say 70 would be for US.
Okay.
About 20 would be for UK.
Okay.
And the balance 10 I would be from Canada,
rest of
Singapore, Australia.
Countries, yeah.
Europe is coming of age. But do remember, the big reason why people go to USA, UK and maybe Canada, they have a global reach. If I degree from USA, I can work in Dubai, I can work in Hong Kong, I can work in India. But if you go to a Dubai or a Singapore, Australia, they're more localized. When you come back to India, you're behind some of the Indian universities also. So the global reach is there. The diversity. You're going abroad not only for the education, but the type of people you meet from all over the world.
Correct.
That's a big advantage going abroad. So I think the cycle of going abroad is only going to increase because if you look at historically the demographics, we have grown as a country, growing at 8-10% a year. So the affluency which is increasing, especially in second, third tier cities, people who are aspirational, small town business people are done well. What do they want? They want their children to get better education. They want to rise up in society. So how does it come? By sending your child abroad. Whether it's good or bad is another story. But that's the aspiration people have. Hamara bachcha abroad gaya hai. So that will still continue. It will hold a lot of weight. So the market is only increasing, I would say, with rising affluency. It is seen, honestly, in front of my eyes in the last 15 years, I'm seeing children from small town India and they have the fire in their belly also. Very different from a cookie cutter application from Delhi or Bombay. And that is what's making the new India. And that is what colleges abroad are also looking at.
And they're inviting them also because that brings the diversity.
Diversity within India also.
Yeah.
So it's very changing India. So I definitely foresee an exponential increase going abroad because even if you want to stay back here, sir, where do you stay back? Think of it for 2 minutes. How many colleges are there to welcome you out here?
Limited.
Yeah.
And do you believe in education moving to a fair bit of education moving to hybrid? Is that a model that will survive or will be welcome?
It's hybrid models have been there. Manipal is a good example.
Yeah. But that was most like a distance. But when it comes to
you do 2 years here, 2 years there.
Okay.
Manipal had some good tie-ups. Some of the colleges here have good tie-ups that work well.
Yeah.
And it saves your costs also because today If you're going to the US, your total cost is going to be about $80,000 to $100,000 a year. It's not a small amount of money. You're spending 3.5 crores. So you have the hybrid model, but hybrid models, it's not going to be, for the top universities, don't believe in a hybrid model.
Right.
But some of the state universities in the USA have a hybrid model. A lot of British universities are coming with a hybrid model. Who do 1 year in India and 2 years out there.
Right.
It will come. I think India is welcoming them. The biggest challenge for universities overseas to coming to India has been the 3-year degree versus the 4-year degree.
Yes.
For India, it was always a 3-year degree for humanities, except for engineering. So a lot of colleges who wanted to come to India also say, we can't give you a 3-year degree. So it's a 4-year degree. But by and large, a lot of people ask me, will top universities ever come to India? I don't foresee that, because that whole experience of the campus life there, the libraries, the diversity of the student body, the whole atmosphere.
Hard to replicate outside of their core
and
place.
A good case is NUS. NUS are tied up with Yale and they broke off. But you couldn't experience that whole Yale experience at NUS. So a lot of colleges have tried to come to India, but can you tell me how many colleges can you tell me have come to India and have been successful? You can't name a single US university.
A single one.
UK have come through for the hybrid model, but I really don't foresee that happening, because the whole education, the policies are there, which are there, are not sort of fine with the US universities. So I think it take a long time before that comes through. And if you really want to experience US college, you cannot experience in India. You have to go overseas for that. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, whether you go undergraduate or postgraduate, doesn't make a difference. And with children, I've seen, when you use role models of people who have been successful doing what they passionately enjoy, they really get excited. So I would give examples like Anand Mahindra has done film studies at undergraduate degree. Or Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, has done English as undergrad degree. Or Sundar Pichai has done metallurgical engineering as undergrad degree. But because all of them did something which they enjoyed, they excelled. And because they excelled, they all went for MBA to top business schools. Sundar Pichai to Wharton, Jack Ma to China, and Anand Mahindra to Harvard. So I said, follow your passion at undergraduate degree, do what you enjoy, and eventually it's your postgraduate degree which is going to count, not your undergraduate degree. So whether you do it in India or abroad, doesn't make a difference. Follow your passion.
This is a very important point that you're mentioning, sir. And I think this is where most of the parents with whom I've interacted, they find it so hard to actually sponsor or let the child pursue their passion, because there's a lot of stereotypical careers in the minds of parents. They said, okay, you have to go into a STEM program.
Correct.
Where the kid really wants to get into arts or sports, then they don't have opportunities, or they're not confident that this will help.
I think we will go historically out here. If you look back 25, 30 years ago, parents were very keen that children follow careers where there was a return on investment, because eventually that was most important. So typically you were compartmentalized into, as you said, into engineering, law, CA or medicine. You couldn't think of anything else.
Correct.
But we have come of age now. And today parents who have gone abroad for their undergrad degree have come back to India. They allow their children to go and do what they want.
Explore more.
But that's few and far. It's growing. I typically find a big divide between the urban cities and the non-urban cities. In the urban cities, people are well educated, have seen the world. They're allowing the children to follow their passion.
Right.
But in the 3rd, 4th tier cities, when they just come up, for them still, that engineering is a gold.
They sort of say, what made us successful, we would let our kid do that.
My boy has to do engineering.
Yeah.
That's where I think sometimes I believe it's not counseling children, it's counseling parents, which is more important.
So true.
And because a lot of the parents are driven by the society around them, by the cocktail circuit in the urban cities, because it's all one-upmanship today. And today, what is the biggest problem is educating parents that don't try to follow your aspirations through your children. Allow them to blossom in what they do. And everything is about society. It's not where your child will be happy. It's which university will look good when I talk to another cocktail party circuit that my child is at XYZ college. And that is where I would tell parents, if your child's ability is so much and you want to aspire for here, it's not going to happen. You're going to be disappointed, the child is going to be disappointed. And the most
maybe bruised for life.
Absolutely. And the most important thing I tell any parent and child, go to a place where your child will be happy. This is a message I would tell any parent, don't go by brand. Brand will come at a postgraduate degree. Go where your child will be happy. If he's happy, he will excel. If he excels, he will go to a good postgraduate degree. And this is the biggest message I would like to tell any parent, because I've seen so much. You haven't seen, it's one thing to get in, but what after you get in? I've seen so many cases of mental issues which happen in college. Nobody talks to you about that. And the child has gone to the wrong college because the parents pushed him to go to that college. So I think the biggest message for parents is allow your child to go where he'll be happy. and let him do what he will be happy in, college and his passion, and then automatically he'll do well. You tell me how many people you know who have not done well. If you look at it, some people have done well at an early stage, some have done a later stage, but everybody has done well. But it's become so much driven by society that I think parents have to change, you know. And you know, I always recommend this one lovely book. It's called "Which College You Go to Is Not Where You'll Be in Life." It's by Bruno, I forget the first name. I would recommend any parent who should read that book. Talking about for every one Ivy League student, there were 10 students who went to state university have been more successful than people who go to Ivy League schools. You know, and interestingly, I've done analysis of my students who went to top universities. I don't think they've done anything better than my students who went to state universities or lesser known colleges.
Wow, that's a very important insight.
Very interesting, very interesting. They've done as well or equally well as everybody else. But yes, that 4-year high was, it's like you're on a drug, you know, I'm at Harvard right now. There's a big high that you get. What after that? We have not tracked careers. I have tracked careers of people who have gone after the top colleges. I don't think they've done anything better than a guy who went to a state university like Michigan State or something. It comes to a plateau at some point of time. So eventually, but people who went to good postgraduate colleges, that is where the pivot occurs, I would say, not the undergraduate degree at all. So the message to parents is, allow your child to go to wherever it will blossom. Don't get paranoid about brand. But again, the question will be, if I'm going to spend $90,000 Viral, I don't want to send him to a small unknown college. I respect that. But as long as you go to a reasonably good college, you're going to get a quality education abroad. Even in India, if you go to any good college like Ashoka, Kriya, fabulous colleges, you're going to get a great education out there. So I would say allow your child to do what he enjoys. Go to a college, will be happy. Don't fulfill your aspirations through your child. Allow him to blossom in his own right. And to any child, I would say, when you give role models, other successful people who have been successful doing what they were happy in, then they get excited also, and parents get convinced also.
No, this is very helpful. And I think a lot of what you just said, it's part of the overall planning that the parents must do. And this is where my next question is, what is that, single biggest mistake that the Indian parents do, or the students do, when they are thinking or planning to pursue their education outside India? So where do they go wrong? Do they plan late, or are they too fixated on certain colleges? What is their biggest?
I think a combination of both. I think doing careers which look good, sound good, and has good scope. Because every parent, Mr. Doshi, scope kisme hai. So if you look at historically, 20 years ago, everybody wanted to do investment banking. 10 years ago, it became law, then became computer science. Now everybody wants to do AI. Indian parents always want to see where is there good scope in, because the return on investment is very important. So where they make a mistake is pushing a child to do something which is not capable of doing, number one. Number two, not identify where the child will blossom in. Number three, looking at colleges which are not a right fit for the college student, I would say, and pushing their child to fulfill their own ambitions which they couldn't fulfill. So I think where they go wrong is, I think where they can go right, if I may say so, is allowing the child to be happy, allowing to do what he wants, and go to the right fit college. That right fit college is very important. That is where the job of a good counselor, whether school or private, should be which is the right fit for you. When you get your admissions, which is the right fit for you. Everybody wants to go to Stanford, but it's not going to be possible. And also, once you get into Stanford, you have to survive. So I think the job of a good counselor is to identify the right fit college for any counselor. I would say, even a private counselor. And my always message to any counselor doing this work is, treat your child like your own child. When you have a client like a child, unless you treat it like your own child, you never give the right advice. So will you do that for your own child? If you don't, then don't give that advice.
And that's your litmus test.
That's very litmus test. So I think that's very important. And I think the role of counselors has become very important in India right now. There are plenty of school counselors doing a great job today. Private counselors have come as a big industry today in India also. But I think it has to change, where you treat a client like your own child. When you treat it like your own child, I believe success comes in, that they feel happy, parents feels happy. But I think coming back, counseling parents is very, very important today. Don't push your child beyond a certain level. Let him do what he enjoys. And I think luckily, parents in urban cities are coming out of the mindset that it has to be conventional careers. They're looking at new age careers also. And the students do very well when it'll be amazing what sort of careers open up for you when you do new age careers, also from sports management to
sports analytics to
everything. And so I think opportunities are plenty today. Allow your child to, but that's why I always say at the age of 15, 16 or 14, do the psychometric test.
Yeah.
Analyze your child's strengths and weaknesses, his interest and aptitude, and then best is to merge all three together to see what is the right career map for a child. Once you know what career to pursue, then work backwards and design his high school and which college they should go to. So what happens becomes a very scientific approach in looking at careers and college planning and college admissions, I would say.
Right. And in this planning, where do you see the role of grades versus the narrative of the student? Because I've often seen parents getting, overemphasizing on the grade and the grade quality and completely ignoring or underemphasizing on the narrative of the child, because every child is unique.
Absolutely. But let me come back to answering your question in a different manner. When you're applying to go overseas, let's say a case like America, what do they look at? They look at academics of high school, grade 9 to 12, whether you're consistent or you have upward graph. 2, they look at your standardized testing, SAT, ACT. They look at your extracurricular activities. They look at your recommendations from 2 teachers and a counselor and extracurricular and essays. So eventually, when you apply, the academics and SATs will have a weightage of 60 to 65%.
Right.
The extracurricular recommendation will be 30-35%, and the essays will be 5 to 10%.
Oh, that's it.
Absolutely. And this is the biggest myth, by the way. So eventually, if you want to go to a good university, it is first academics, second academics, third academics, fourth academics, and fifth academics. If you combine academics and SATs, which is 60-65%, recommendations will be strong. For academics are strong, that's 15%. Essays are 5 to 10%. Already 80% of applications ready. So the whole profile building nonsense which is taking place right now in India, in every party, every profile, gone to another level altogether. It's gone to another level. So profile building counts for 20%. So eventually, if you talk to I'll give you a good case and example. I was talking to one of the admission directors of Ivy League school. He said, this year, Viral, we received 72,000 applications for 2,500 seats.
Wow.
Right? If we read each application for 15 minutes and we work for 24 hours a day, which we don't, of course, it'll take us 5+ years to finish all the applications. We have 2 months.
Wow.
So what do? We don't tell this to students. The cutoff comes in academics and SATs. We don't meet that certain requirement. We don't even see the recommendations and the extracurricular activity essays. This is all a big marketing hype which has taken place. So I tell any parent, first focus on academics. If the academics are in place, we can always build up your profile. But sadly, what has happened because of this whole cocktail circuit scenario, profile building has taken a top spot. Okay, if you have a good profile, if you don't have good academics, you'll get in a good university. In my lifetime, that has never happened. You have a profile, but get your academics in place. Grade 9, 10, 11, 12. Academic means school academics, competitions, research papers, online courses, summer school, a combination of that. So I think that's the biggest mistake. So answering your question, academics is still the prime decision maker to get into a good college. So, but along with academics, yes, each child is unique. The uniqueness would come out with the extracurricular activities of profile. And that's also where I tell people that if you really want to go to a good university, stand out. And one of the things that universities look at, what is the impact you want to make in the future? They give a rating on all these attributes, academic stats, but in extracurricular activities, what sort of impact have you made currently and what impact will you make in the future? These are the people they love to take in college. Is that, yes, this guy's made impact right now, he may make impact in the future also.
Right. And when it comes to profile building, clearly, as you're saying, that academics is the core. But if somebody is not good at academics, so how do they decide how much weightage they should put on creating the profile? Let's say, having a shoddy job on both ends will not land you anywhere. But how do they decide that, okay, I've got 2 years, I've got 3 years, my kid isn't that great on academics. So should I put all my energies on academics? Or, what kind of profile building will get accepted? Is it national level, state level, global level, impact driven? So where can they focus?
I think first and foremost, if that scenario arises, the parents have to be realistic which college the child should go to first.
That is the
start. If he's going to think he's going to go to Harvard with not having good academics, that's not going to happen.
That's not.
But that's the problem with today's parents. They think the child can go to Harvard even the academics is not strong. So first, the counselor has to educate the parent, look here, you have to lower your requirements. That being said, yes, you can do profile building. As far as profile building is concerned, what they love to see in America, doing 2 or 3 things, but going into depth. They don't want breadth.
Depth over breadth.
Now, everybody can't be a national level sports person, right? But answering your question, which you asked earlier, students, this year we are close to about 82 Ivy League admits. I would say 81 got in because of community service at a grassroots level on a sustainable basis. That is the mantra to go to a good college. How have we impacted society? That is something they look at very, very closely. Besides, of course, things like leadership, debates, theatre, all that is fine. But the bottom line is, if that phrase, how we've impacted society at a grassroots level on a sustainable basis, that is what gets you in a good university, if you ask me. So if they have nothing with them, they want to build a profile, built up on this one platform of impact. At the same time, do one or two other things, but go into depth. Don't do breadth.
Right.
They don't like breadth in America at all. They like depth. So if you have depth with you, you're a winner. But again, lower your expectations. Right. Don't expect you to get into a top Ivy League school just with extracurricular activity. That has never happened. Right. It is academics that drives the application.
Absolutely. Oh, this is very, very helpful. But looking at what you're saying for children to go into the depth, is there any set of traits or a single trait that you feel that every child must have? If they are looking at a global education, what kind of traits should they be more self-aware of who they are and what gets them going, what stops them from doing things? So what are those traits that they should?
I think first thing I would tell any child who comes to me, whether you study in India or overseas, humility.
Humility.
I've seen a lot of my brilliant children become very arrogant. When they get into top colleges, arrogance sets in. So this is something which I always tell people: if you want to be successful in life, be humble. If you have success with you, you got brilliance with you, be humble. These are the people who really make it big. Over the years, I've seen people have been arrogant, they've fallen very badly, and nobody cares for them. So first thing, after any child, be humble. God has given you the skill sets with you, leverage it, have humility with you.
Right.
Two, be ambitious, of course, but see what your ability is. It's like me, I'm 5'3".
Be honest too.
Yeah, if I want to marry Stanford, she's 6'3". Not possible. So go somewhere where it's 5'5", where you get into a good partnership with a college where you blossom. So I think aspirations should not be built up beyond your ability. Go to a place where you're, so be more self-aware and be realistic. I think the humility, realism, I think would be something very important for a person to think about. And of course, be aware of what's happening in the world around you. I think humility and awareness are very important, and be happy. I think humility, be aware and be happy. I think happiness is the biggest. You have no idea about a number of students who come to me in college with mental issues. It's just insane today. And nobody even talks about them because they can't talk to their parents. They'll come and confide in me, Mr. Doshi, I'm having this problem. So I say, okay, go and talk to this psychologist if you can, because they have gone to the wrong place. And aspiration, because it's become so competitive today. Forget getting to college. What about the job afterwards? You're applying to a Goldman Sachs, you're applying to a McKinsey, you're applying to a Google.
They are pressure cookers.
1 out of 100 chance of getting it. Then even after getting there, they have to be happy. So I think I've seen successful children are people who are happy. Successful children are people who are realistic. And successful people are people who are humble, I would say. These three qualities if a child has, he'll be happy, he'll do well in whatever he does.
Absolutely. And you've helped so many thousands and thousands of students for a very long time. But there is a talk of, this Gen Z, this new generation. Is there a behavioral shift that you are noticing in the kids that are coming to you now versus who have been coming to you for decades?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
And is there a shift in the parents?
Parents, yes and no, both. Okay. More aspirational.
More aspirational.
And wealth creates more aspiration also, because you see some of the very wealthy people, they think they can buy the world. So I think wealth has perhaps been a change. With more wealth, people think they can buy anything that they want, It's not that easy. But I think children have remained the same where they were earlier, but they're more aware. You see, which was not the case 20 years ago. We didn't have internet. They're much more aware. Today's child, if I had to compare a child sitting in New York and in Mumbai or Delhi, there's no difference. I think a Mumbai, Delhi kids are far more street smart than my children in New York at the end of the day, because the competition here just raises the bar. So I have not seen a change in Gen Z at all, to be honest with you. It's more of a myth, I would say.
Okay.
Yes, in terms of they want more experience. They don't want to save for buying a flat or buying a car, or they want to experience, they want a good holiday, they want a good treat to a good restaurant. So I don't think education has changed at all. Children have remained the same. Parents have remained the same. Perhaps become more aggressive now because they're more ambitious. Because you see, 20 years ago, our parents not in the cocktail circuits that today's parents are, the YEOs and Vipers, nothing. They're wonderful people. But it's again, one-upmanship, isn't it? My child goes to Harvard, your child doesn't go to Harvard. So it's all upmanship. So if they come down and go back to the brass tacks as an understanding, have I sent my child to a happy school? If they have, that's very good. So I don't see a change in the children at all. And parents perhaps more ambitious. With more wealth comes more aspiration also. But not much of a change, to be honest with you. But again, the Indian diaspora today, which was not the case 20 years ago, has spread to Singapore, Dubai, London. So the competition has become very intense for them also. And those parents perhaps a little bit more aspirational than perhaps parents in India. But having said that, answering your question, I would say I have not seen a change in Gen X. They're as confused. I think, okay, answering your question, they're more confused. The plethora of choices are much more today. Just look at after grade 10, you can go into IB, you can go into A levels, you can go to ISC, CBSE. So what do? Where does the child go? So my job is more of a demystifier. So
bring clarity in there.
Clarity in that thought. And my simple answer, anybody would ask you which curriculum should I do? I should do a curriculum where a child will do well. For a college abroad, it doesn't make a difference whether you do A levels or IB or ISC or CBSE. So my best and brightest who have gone to Harvard, Stanford, MIT are all CBSE kids. So at the end of the day, it's more for the cocktail circuit. But yes, the IB education or the A-level education gives you a certain edge, gives you a very wholesome education also. I can't deny that. Keeps you more ready for America. But everybody can't do IB. There's a very famous boys boarding school in India who's getting out of IB. The IB is still not yet ready for India, I would say, because besides 10, 15 schools in India, the delivery of IB is not there. So because we don't get the good teachers. How many teachers do you know? IB will be successful when one generation of Indians do the IB and come back and teach. Today, all the teachers who are doing IB have been shifted from the Indian curriculum to the IB curriculum. That's the biggest change today. That is why delivery is not as strong as it should be. So that is why I tell people, if you're doing well in CBSE, ISC, stick to it. Doesn't make a difference for college application. As long as you plan your 2 years, if you do ISC, CBSE, do APs. One AP is going to one higher level subject to IB. It's a matter of planning. So, but the whole paranoia of doing international curriculum becomes so huge now that it's not required. If you want to do it, it's fantastic. But if you can't do it, it's also fantastic. Do a curriculum where your child will blossom. And sometimes, if you're doing the ICSE, CBSE to grade 10, then doing the ISC, CBSE in grade 11 and 12 is a natural extension. And today, everybody in India has done the same Indian curriculum. All have been successful. Who has not been successful? So that IB is going to make you more successful. But again, there's all one-upmanship sometimes that my child is doing IB. But yes, having said that, IB is a beautiful curriculum. A-level is a great curriculum. But
provided it is
delivered properly. There are very few schools, I would say, handful, 15, 20 schools in India, which have really delivered IB to the best level possible.
So, we were talking about the behavioral shifts in the current generation. As part of the education sector, ourselves, we have noticed a lot more anxiety with the advent of devices and digital era. There's a lot of distraction. Do you see that some of that is taking away the effort that could actually generate far more better outcomes for these students? Is there a way that, do students and parents come to you with those kind of challenges, and how to keep them focused, avoid anxiety, avoid distraction, and bring more clarity to these kids?
Talking about anxiety, it is becoming a very big problem today. And I think there is a very big market for counselors today, psychology counselors, to advise these students on anxiety. And especially after COVID, because of COVID, because of competition today, anxiety levels are just going on increasing every year. It's very sad to see somebody going through such anxious moments, and you can't just do anything about it. Devices play some role in the anxiety, I don't think, but yes, things like the devices, I say for a lot of my student girls, cyberbullying, body shaming, devices play a very key role. So there are good and bad parts of devices also. But on a lighter note, I remember sometime back, the IIT entrance topper, there was a big article in Times of India, IIT topper gives up mobile phone for 2 years. I want mothers who call me the next day, my bacha is coming to meet you in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, please tell him not to use the mobile phone. But it's not that simple,
Yeah,
I think if you can limit the use, I think you have to engage your child and tell them, yes, use it, but use it in a disciplined manner. It's not easy. And these are things that today's generation is groping with, which we didn't have. But it has its pluses also, but it has its minuses also. But generally, I would say this is something that sort of a psychology counselor could address. Anxiety levels are very high. I see more of that in girls, I would say, than in boys. Body shaming, cyberbullying, very heavy. You have no idea about cyberbullying in this country. It is another level altogether. Parents don't know about it because they can't share it with their parents. So then we have to, I suggest them, okay, go to this counselor, talk to them and do that. And that's something, a big issue because of devices. But I guess everything has its pluses and minuses. So parents have to see, I love the Australian law, below 16, no social media at all. So I don't think we can control that in India today. But something like that, because it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
So I think I would just tell parents, you have to engage your child, tell them the pluses and minuses. They're young adults today. You can't tell them you can't do it. The more you tell them that, they will rebel. Instead, just engage them. So use it, but use it for X amount of time. So yeah, that is a challenge. I can't deny it. And I don't go down that path. I typically advise them to look at psychology counselors who can advise them what to do with anxiety. Yes, devices is something that has its pluses and minuses. I think more minuses today than pluses, I would say.
And for you, do you see the amount of parent involvement, has it increased over a period of time? Are they becoming sort of too intrusive in the lives of their children because they have time and now they're well off? And, given earlier, they were completely,
oblivious
and focused on building a career and giving a good life to their family. Now, it's all about quality of life, quality of time.
I think with rising affluency, being more educated, sometimes parents feel they know how to run a school also, sadly. So yes, that is a issue one has to tackle. As it's a term called helicopter parents, isn't they? Virtually involved in everything their child does today. So that is the issue. Parents are much more involved, I would say, than I remember when I applied to America, my father said, "Kitna ka check mangta hai?" $30. That's it. He didn't know where I applied, what I did. But today, parents are involved in every decision making for their child. I don't know whether they have more time, but they want to be more involved. And there's a change in the demographics and the whole life cycles of people today. They feel they want to be more involved with their child, which their parents perhaps didn't give them. They want to be more involved. So I think parents are much more involved than what they were earlier. And yes, to some extent in urban cities, the helicopter parents are very huge. They're really involved in every decision making the child does. Doesn't let the child do what he wants to do. At the same time, it can have its pluses also. The child do much more than perhaps what they would have done on their own. So there are pluses and minuses. But yes, parents are very involved now than they were. I would say I've seen a 100-degree change from 25 years ago to today. Today's parents are very different. And these are parents, again, who are much more educated, are much more affluent. And some of them, majority of them have even studied abroad. So they want to ensure that the child gets the best, which they didn't get. So every generation, you see, what your parents didn't get, they gave it to you. What I couldn't get, I gave it to my own child. So it's a generation cycle. But that's not true only in India. It's all across the world.
All across the world.
Right. You think Indian parents are ambitious and aggressive? Look at some of my Jewish clients, my Lebanese clients. Oh my God, they're as ambitious and aggressive as Indian parents.
Wow. And obviously, when a parent comes to you, they don't say it. Sometimes they say it. Ivy League is always an aspiration. So where are the common misunderstandings when it comes to Ivy League admissions?
So first and foremost, Ivy League has become associated with quality education. People don't even know what Ivy League means.
Correct.
So it's like you're climbing a mountain. Mount Everest is the aim. So Ivy League has become synonymous with quality education. If you look back historically, Ivy League are the 8 colleges, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, UPenn, Dartmouth, Cornell, Brown, Columbia, which played sports together, got together in the 1950s. And because they were academic inclined and they had Ivies going on the walls, they call it Ivy League. And that became, because the synonymous with quality education, parents felt that my child has to go for Ivy League education. But how many people are getting to Ivy League? If you look at it, if you put all the Ivy League admits from India together, it won't be more than 200. You have like 10,000 people applying every year. So
just about 200 from India.
yeah, you look at, I'll give you examples. Penn will be 25, 30. Brown will be like 15 or 20.
Across all programs.
Across all programs. Dartmouth would be like 15, 20. Yale will be something like 8 or 10. Princeton will be 10 to 15. Harvard will be 6 to 8. So where are the Ivy Leagues? So that is what people have to remove their from the mind, that America is not Ivy League. American education is actually best delivered in the small liberal arts colleges like Amherst, Williams, Middlebury, Swarthmore. That is where the quality education is. And the education you'll get in any of the top 100 colleges in America is on par. Yes, Ivy League has a brand. It's like wearing a watch, a Rolex watch or a Mercedes car. It has a brand. As I told you earlier in the beginning, after having been to Ivy League school, I don't see any difference between my child who went to a 1-notch lower or 2-notch lower colleges. But how do you remove that? Because every parent's aspiration is to send their child to Ivy League school.
Right.
But ask yourself why? More of bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
It's not because of education going to be any better.
And not that this is the best thing for my
child. That's
child.
right. But the bragging rights. It is parents who have to be educated, sadly. I'm sorry to say, over the years I've seen, I say, why are you pushing a child? It doesn't have the ability to go to Ivy League. No. We have been told Ivy League is a way to go about doing it. The child doesn't get in, the parents are more disappointed.
Wow.
So sometimes the parents who have to be educated, look here, as I said earlier, go to a happy school. Go to a school which is a good fit for your school. Yeah. Ivy League is not American education. Ivy League is a great education, but go to Ivy League at a postgraduate degree. What is the hurry? Go to a school, you'll be happy. Of course, you get into Ivy League school, nothing like it. But how many are getting into Ivy League schools? Yeah. You ask yourself, I'm saying not more than 200. Whole of India, not more than 200. Yeah. Think of it.
Even lesser than your IIT the toughest exam selection rates.
The quality of education will get in 2, 3, 4-notch lower colleges is going to be on par with Ivy League. Yeah. But the brand of Ivy League is very strong. It perhaps may open up more doors for you when it comes to jobs. But it's a brand. Eventually you're going for the brand. Whether you get a job or not, my child went to Ivy League school. That's what counts at the end of the day. Right. That is what we will get out of them and educate the parent. Look here. There are 1,000 other colleges in America which are not Ivy League, which are as good, and a child will blossom. And I can make a whole report on saying all my students didn't go to Ivy League schools, perhaps have done even better than my students who went to Ivy League schools. But you get that 4-year high, like you get I'm at Ivy League school. What after that, people never think about. That 4-year high is very important for them. So whether you go to Ivy League school or non-Ivy League school is how well you do. Be happy. I said earlier, be happy, be humble, and be adaptable. That's a 3 traits I would tell any child to adapt for the future, I would say.
Very right, sir. And, we briefly spoke about liberal arts education. Not many people are aware of, what liberal arts education is and who's the right candidate for a right, parent and for a liberal arts education.
So true. So if you look at the history of liberal arts, it started in England. Oxford, Cambridge, used to have the landed gentry who would go there to study. And they didn't want to do the trade. Trade was doing business or doing engineering. They wanted to be educated. Yeah. The education came through philosophy, Greek, learning foreign languages, doing history, doing things like that, but not business or economics. When the American school started 300 years ago, like Harvard or a Yale or a Princeton, so therefore the best model was to follow the Oxbridge model of England, introduce liberal arts. So liberal arts is something which people in India are not aware of. The word liberal arts, people confuse it with humanities in India. Right. Humanities is English, history, psychology, sociology, etc. But true liberal arts is a combination of pure humanities and pure sciences. So history, geography, economics, all is part of humanities. But physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, computer science is liberal arts. Right. So anything which is not a professional degree like a engineering, law, medicine, architecture, CA are all liberal arts courses. And that's what people mistake. People think liberal arts is humanities. Liberal arts is a combination of pure humanities and pure sciences. Who is a good candidate for liberal arts? A person who doesn't know what he wants to do as a career. He can go and explore within liberal arts and see what is the best option for him. People are not sure they want to do a professional based degree like architecture or engineering or architecture or law or medicine. They should do liberal arts. Explore what they want to do for 4 years and then go into postgraduate degree where they get the skill or what they want to specialize in. As a matter of fact, the whole IB diploma was copied from the liberal arts curriculum in America. Oh. That you have 1 English compulsory, 1 foreign language, you've got 1 humanities, 1 science, 1 maths and performing arts. That's the exactly what you do in the first 2 years in American liberal arts college. So that's why IB has become a winner for people who can deliver it properly. You're getting that's why you always hear IB students do better in America. They seamlessly fit in because they've done exactly what they have to do in first 2 years in college.
And, there have been so many successful stories, from your experience with these students. And I'm sure there are equal number or probably larger number of rejection and failure stories.
Oh, absolutely.
And emotions run high when they don't get into the colleges that they dream.
You tell me, I tell you, in the month of March, when the results come out, it takes me exactly 1 minute to congratulate a child who got in. It takes me 1 hour to console a child who hasn't gotten. Why didn't I get in? What did I do wrong? What mistake did I make? So it's very difficult to console a child. And you see, earlier years, when we used to apply to America, the postman would come. If he has a big envelope, you've gotten into the college. If it's a small envelope, that means we reject it. It comes at 11 o'clock in the morning, typically. Here you get the results at 2:30 in the morning. And it's so depressing for a child to get a rejection. And suddenly, two friends who are the closest of friends,
one gets it and the other
hasn't got it. That friendship goes. I've seen that happening. And they go into depression. It takes them 1 week to recover from that whole thing. And then I think that is where the true counseling arises. To tell a child, look here, this is not the end of the world. Where you have got in is a good college. Then what I do, I plan that 4 years for them properly. Give them that incentive. Look, if you plan all this, we'll aim for a good postgraduate college. But having said that, I must share with you, the joke in America, it's easier to get in as a transfer after 1 year or 2 years. So people should never lose hope. If you don't get into college of their choice, wait for a year, wait for 2 years. You can transfer to any top college you want. Do you know Obama couldn't get into Columbia? He went to Occidental College for 2 years.
Oh, is it?
Where did Donald Trump go before you? He went to Fordham.
Wow.
Nobody talks about that. They talk about where you graduate from. So never lose hope. I always tell a child who doesn't get in, yes, it's unfortunate what has happened, but never lose hope. You have to motivate the child, look here, we'll get into a good college. Let's work for 1 year and transfer to a better college that you always wanted to go to.
No, that's a very, very
that
important
hope is very important. You must, child who is rejected, you must give them hope.
Yes.
And that is the job of a good counselor, give them hope that they can aspire and go to wherever they want, either after 1 year or 2 years, wherever they want to go.
And can we see this coming, right? This is not going the way we had anticipated. Is there a course correction that can happen?
Course correction, you mean?
When you're putting the whole academic profile, your research or your profile, your narrative together, and sometimes you get a feeling, this is not going as we had earlier anticipated. Do you see that, and I'm sure you would also get a lot of surprises. This is the kid I was expecting and not getting, and some kids
Between you and me, it's not what you're doing. I think when you have the wrong choice of colleges, I think all these rejections arise because you've aspired more than what you can bite,
Right.
I think that is where the problem arises. I know the child is not going to get in here. You can't tell the child that, right?
And they won't accept it.
They won't accept it. He wants to aspire. They can't aspire. But that's when the disappointment is. A child who's gone to a college which is just above him is the happiest child. But when we go like 10 steps above you, it's not possible. That is why I think the rejections come at that point of time. And that is where you can't tell a child when he's rejected, look here, I told you so. Then console, look here, destiny is taking you somewhere else. Let's plan your 4 years. But course correction not possible to do when you're applying. You can do a little bit of course correction. But by and large,
not a significant.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, parents want to aspire.
Yeah.
You can't tell them no.
Yeah.
Why can't my child go to Stanford? He has the ability. Please apply. But I would always put a caveat, look here, if he doesn't get in, don't get disappointed. Apply. You can't tell a parent no, because every parent thinks his child is the best child. Of course, he may be, but not everybody is going to get into the top university. So I think disappointments occur when you go to the wrong colleges, you aspire too high than your ability is.
Right. And when you're planning for these kids, do you always have an alternate pathway also planned, or there's only one way and then we'll see what happens?
I think alternative pathways are two. One is to have a range of colleges where you apply to dream colleges, target and safety colleges, right? That becomes alternate pathway.
Okay.
And two, look at other countries also.
Other countries.
Like UK or Canada or maybe India or maybe if it all to Singapore or anywhere else as a backup. But still the aspiration is still to go to US. I mean, there are a few who go to UK, but between UK and US, 90% of students going overseas will occupy those slots out there. Other countries have yet not come up to that mark which US and UK has done, but still US is far ahead of the game. Other research opportunities, the diversity, it's another level altogether. You talk to any US student who's studying in US and he goes for a study abroad program in another country, he'll say, the level of education US was right up here,
Yeah.
And then you can see that. You see a remarkable change in 4 years' time when they come back to whichever college they went to. Just gets you educated, if I may say so.
And a lot of the kids that we interact with, they actually take these rejections very, very personally.
Absolutely.
They feel that they have personally failed and there is no future in for them, rather than just taking this failure as a data point that okay, this is what happened. And as
it's not easy to do that.
I mean,
as
from a
as we
distance
can
it
say,
is. That's the
you
story.
can't,
But how do you help that?
It's very difficult because in their peer group,
Yeah.
they were expecting this guy was going to go to XYZ college, he hasn't gotten. You feel bad.
Yeah.
Your relatives, your parents, everybody felt you should have gone, you couldn't get in. So I think that is where you have to be a good counselor, a person who gives a good range of college, aspire, but also have some safeties also. But yes, the feeling of dejection is very, very strong, and it carries on for a long, long time in life also.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of friendships cutting apart because his best friend got into this. And what happens today, let's say I'm a Stanford applicant, I'm very good, but my guy sitting next to me is not as good, but that guy applies to Stanford. Why? Because if my friend gets in, I'll be more disappointed than I not getting in, That is what drives people to apply to top colleges today. And that's why we have to educate the parents. Please, please, please do a realistic list. Aspire also, but have good backups also. Both within the list of college you apply to in America and also in other countries, you have good backups with you also. So a lot of people prefer to go to UK for backups because rather than going to a average college in America and spending $100,000, they rather spend half the money and go to UK to a better college. And UK is a great option. Go there for 3 years and then do your masters in America. But the American colleges, the flexibility is tremendous. You see, you can change from whatever you want to whatever you want. The curriculum is continuous evaluation, whereas in England is one end of the year exam. There's no flexibility. So America is definitely the gold standard today for education. Nothing has changed. Colleges are as normal. Universities are as normal. Nothing that parents should even fear one bit that things have changed. Yes, jobs are not going to be easy to get. Internships are not going to be easy to get. So remember, you're sending your child for the experience. It may not be ROI.
Absolutely. And is there anything that you feel the school counseling department or counselors should do which can help students plan their academics and overall profile better? Because they spend a lot of time there.
By and large, school counselors do a good job.
Yeah.
But today, there's lack of good school counselors, isn't it?
How
do you become counselor? Basically, teachers who become counselors. And if you can become a good counselor, you yourself have been educated abroad, you know what is happening. So most of the counselors don't even have that background behind them.
Correct.
So it's a bit of a challenge for schools to get good school counselors. So it's a big merry-go-round of school counselors. You work for one place for 3 years, you get another job, move on, So challenge. That is why I would say 90% of parents are having private counselors to help them with college admissions. The school counselor sadly becomes more of a post office, and school counselors are aware of that. And they also tell you, if you're doing a private counselor, tell us, so we are happy with that, Because I think unless you have experienced college life abroad, to be a true counselor is not easy. And counseling comes with experience, isn't it?
Right.
You have seen life, you've seen your own children. Then you can tell us. For me, if I were to tell any child what to do, I said, my own child went through this. So it becomes easier to relate to the child and to the parent. Parents, they also relate to you better. But you have gone through the same experience. I would say, my child was rejected early also. So don't get disappointed. Oh, your child was rejected. Then they get a little more reassured. That with a new bunch of counselors, they will take time. I think there's a big demand for good counselors. I was doing a workshop in Jaipur about 2 months back. And there were an amazing bunch of counselors. I'm very impressed with them. But again, they didn't lack that awareness of what is happening in the market out there. I think over the course of time, they will also be more aware. But still, I would say, by and large, whatever you say, go to Delhi, go to Bombay, go to Bangalore, even smaller cities, they bank on a private counselor right now than the school counselor. School counselor is good, but they don't have, except for experienced counselors, maybe 25, 30 all across India. Otherwise, they depend on private counselors.
Right. And, you spoke about AI earlier in our conversation. I wanted to touch that point again where should AI be something that would actually greatly impact the value of education? Because a lot of kids are resorting to AI for their homework,
ChatGPT.
for their understanding,
Essays for colleges.
The originality, the curiosity, the innovation is actually being outsourced to a machine.
So true.
So do you think this pattern is gonna further sort of deteriorate the quality of applications that are going out?
So that's what a lot of US colleges are now sort of brainstorming. What do we do in the future?
What do we do?
When we started with asking for essays and recommendations, people should write it on their own. There was no resource for them. But today with AI coming in, and I can make out in 2 minutes it's AI, it's a ChatGPT essay. I mean, imagine them, they read 10,000 essays. So I think they will review the decision making process. That is where I would again say academics is going to play a very critical role.
Correct.
I wish America was like IIT. You're good in studies, you get in, don't get in, because you can fabricate half the things in profile building, right? Recommendation also can be, rosy picture can be pictured, but academics you cannot change. So I think that will become more and more instrumental. The academics and the standardized testing will become more important in the future than just your essays and your recommendations. Nobody's telling you this, but I tell you, I know a large number of US universities who are now using AI to evaluate a student, that how much will he perform in college based on his performance in the current school.
Wow.
They have a database of various schools all over the world.
They
extrapolate. Okay, this guy is coming from XYZ school. Based on past performance of students from the school, where will he land up in 4 years' time? Will he get a GPA of so and so? That is where AI is going to play a very important role. Nobody is telling you this, but they are using AI now. Otherwise, just think, how do you evaluate 72,000 applications?
Cannot.
It's not mentally possible.
Or you have 1,000 people reading. What is their capability?
And what is their capability? Nobody knows. So that's why AI will become a very useful tool. But I believe long term, 10, 15 years from now, more and more, they'll depend more on the academics and SAT as indicator than essays and recommendations. It's very interesting why essays and recommendations started in USA. Earlier it was all academic research.
Oh, is it? When did they introduce this?
In the 50s, 60s. What was happening in those days, the Jewish students used to max out the SATs and the SATs. Now, all these wash-based universities, oh my God, we have so many Jews coming in. How do we break that? Get recommendation. Then because, your recommendation not strong enough. We get essays are not strong enough. It became very subjective. It's very interesting history behind it. So that's been there for the last 60, 70 years now. But that may go through a change because nobody expected ChatGPT at that point of time.
Correct.
So I personally believe they'll depend more on AI tools at their end. They'll believe more in the academics and the SAT as a good torchbearer as to how that student would do instead of depending on essays and recommendations. Because you're right, ChatGPT, all the recommendations look alike to me today. Nothing refreshing. And everybody in his aunt is using ChatGPT. So, and the colleges can't stop that. So they have to review their admission policies in the future as the time goes by.
And when you say academics is important, obviously schools are playing a role and students are taking external help when it comes to tuitions or, some kind of orientation. And there are many models out there that, there are physical classroom based, there are online one-to-many, and then there are personalized one-on-one. So where do you see the student is getting maximum value? Is it the personalized, bespoke, customized conversations and tutoring, or help that is the way forward? But obviously there is a issue with scaling that because the number of students are large.
True. I definitely believe still the bespoke one-to-one, whether you do it physically or online, works the best.
Okay.
Group tuitions are fine, but the child's strengths and weaknesses are not really looked upon. With the groups, you're moving with the group at the end of the day. So, but sadly, in every curriculum, whether it be Indian curriculum or the international curriculums, tuition has become a culture out here. Because
whether you need or not, many of other kids are going.
I have kids who are getting a 42 to 42 in IB. They want to take tuition because they want to ensure that they crack a 45 in the IB. So that's become the culture in India today. So this culture in India is very prevalent in India only. I don't see tuition culture outside India.
Oh, that is not there.
Well, yes and no. In Asian countries, I may say the tuition culture is very strong. If you go to England, you go to America, tuition culture is not there at all. The delivery within the school is very, very strong. Here, because delivery in the school is not as strong, you depend on private tuitions. But I would say 80% because the delivery is not strong. 20% they just want to max out on this thing, so they do tuition. But yes, the bespoke, whether you do physical or online, works like a charm. And I think that's what most people prefer to go to because they can't depend on the schools because of delivery.
Yeah.
As I said, IB is still coming of age out here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How many schools, even if you name in Delhi, how many IB schools do you have? 8, right?
Not more.
So Bombay has 45.
Yeah.
But still, the delivery is good in maybe 10, 12 schools. Others are floundering.
Yeah.
And that's where they have to depend on outside help to help them to navigate to the international curriculums.
What's your view on Middle East as a new destination, especially Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where a lot of foreign collaborations, a lot of Indian universities and the US and UK universities are setting up their physical campuses. Is that an ecosystem that has a future?
And it has a good future, I would say. Cost-wise, it's economical to go there. And students who can't make it to a top college, perhaps in America, may go to the same college at the Dubai campus or the Abu Dhabi campus. It's becoming a hub, but I think still is a long way to go. A lot of good Indian universities like BITS has gone there, Amity has gone there, SP Jain is there.
Yes.
Doing a very good job. And I think there's a market for that. But if you look at how many top universities are there, you'll see the quality of institutes that are there are the little bit lower ones. Having said that, there's a market for that also. And a lot of people need to go to these colleges also. But it's a good opportunity if you can't get into a good US university. But you can't replicate a US university in the Middle East at the end of the day. But in terms of cost, but the very few, if you ask yourself how many good US or UK colleges are in Middle East, the ones that are there are good, but not the best. And that is a challenge. So if you want to go to the best, you can't.
It's a trade-off.
A trade-off. So, but then I would tell a person, if you should go to Middle East, go to Indian colleges, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think we are, but we have this whole white man complex that whatever the white man does is better than what we do, which is so sad today. And that has to change. IIT has brought that change. Medicine brought that change. Law schools have brought that change. I think another 10 years, even the liberal arts college and schools like Plaksha will bring that change. Also, stay back out here. And I love the model of Plaksha and Ashoka and Kriya because they're not taking just based on your academics. It's overall application which is being seen also, which I think is very important because a lot of people may not do well in a competitive exam, but overall they have the brilliance to do well in a curriculum. And that's where these new age universities in India are adopting that. And I think more and more corporates come in and set up universities here. I think it'll be a game changer in the next 10, 15 years. So Middle East, good, but still, I still prefer India as of now.
Over
Middle East, I would say.
The order would be US, India, and
US,
then Middle
UK,
East.
Canada, India, Middle East.
And so last question around, how do you see what excites you about the global education in the next 5 to 10 years? So where is it all going? Where do you see this all culminating into?
I think what I see more excited is Indian education, not necessarily global education.
That's
I
interesting.
think global education remains static. It's not going to change too much from where it is today.
Right.
But as the growth in Indian education, the awareness, the new colleges which are coming up, the whole philosophy of, the new age college like Kriya, Ashoka, Plaksha, NMI, MS, Flame, it's amazing what we can deliver out here. So over a course of time, I'm very hopeful in 15, 20 years time, we have enough universities out here which you don't have to go abroad. You talk to any parent that if you have a good university, will you stay here? Of course we'll stay here. But where are the good universities? Show me. My child wants to engineer. He can't get into IIT. So by default, he's going abroad. So I think time will come where people will value the Indian education. So I think if we're looking at global education, I think it's going to become more competitive. As the population grows, it's going to get more competitive. So nothing is going to change abroad. It remains static. But I see the India growth story in education going exponentially in terms of delivery, in terms of new universities coming up. So if in the long term, I hope parents look at India very seriously if we have good universities here. And this is where I would reach out to corporates that try and help setting up more universities here. Everybody's setting up schools. How many setting up universities? Big challenge. But I think with the government, if they are giving more freedom to set up universities, I think India is a great market to be in. And India is the most happening place. Look at today, people want to come back to India is the most happening place. So I said, I'm doing reverse migration of undergraduate abroad, coming back out here. For me, that's a great, if you want to work in India, go to IIM or ISB. By doing MBA abroad, how are we going to fit into India? And today, jobs are becoming more challenging there. India is the most happening market today. So I think the global landscape is going to change. I think the change is going to happen
in favor of India.
India.
So do you think a lot of foreign students will start coming to India? I mean, right now I
don't think so. That's a long shot.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of Indian students may stay back here than go abroad, I would say. Because foreign students coming to India, still the people come from Africa and the MENA region. But typically you don't find people, they'll come for a semester abroad out here, a semester, but not really to study in India. It's a long way to go. But I think but we are doing well. I think another 40, 50 years will perhaps catch up with America, but still a long way to go. But I'm very hopeful. I'm very positive of India. Today, India is positive in terms of economics. I think education also, we have a long way to, we're right there right now. In the next 15, 20 years, education is going to boom out here. Very exciting times.
Thank you so much. I'm going to close this section with some rapid fire questions. Just one word or a sentence that you could share on that.
Sure.
You did mention, about a book that every parent must read. If you could just repeat that so that we can capture it correctly.
Here it is. I put it on camera for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's Where You Go Is Not Who You Will Be by Frank Bruni. It's a must read for every parent.
Must read.
Must read.
Really?
And you'll be so satisfied after you read the book that your child is going to a good college, it will blossom.
Great.
Beautiful book. As a matter of fact, another delightful book, people don't know, it's called The Chosen.
Okay.
How the elite in America buy themselves to college and who gets left at the gates. Beautiful book, again, to read as to how admission is not. I'll tell you something very interesting about admission in America, which you should record. In America, out of 100 seats, 10 to 15% go to sports people.
10 to 15% goes
sports.
Oh, that's
sports,
a very important point. I
Like
think there are a lot of kids.
15% go to minorities. 5% go to legacy kids. 5% go to children of professors and administrators. And 5% go to big donors. So you're fighting for only 60% of the seats. People don't know that.
The rest is already taken.
Already taken.
Yes.
So that's what people should be aware of. Please, that book is a must, I would say. For anybody who wants to do, and a parent wants to be satisfied, you get a lot of reassurance with the book. Look here, my child is going to blossom. He didn't go to Ivy League schools.
Right.
Even going to Ivy League school, after that, what people never think about. Do a survey of people who have gone to top universities. It's not that they have been more successful than people who haven't gone to Ivy League schools.
Interesting. So we wanted to have one book, but thank you for sharing two very important books that every parent must read. One mistake that schools make.
I think I've divided into two parts. Schools which have both IB and ISC, schools are pushing children to do the international curriculum because fees are better there. They get more return on investment.
Yeah.
That's what the school should avoid doing. Allow the child to do the right curriculum, what he's fit for. I think a lot of support on the mental health side they need to do today, because I think that's a very big challenge for parents today.
It's a gap they should just add more on it.
More resource centers in the school today, because it's a big issue today.
And one underrated trade in teenagers today.
Underrated.
As a hidden power they have, but we don't really double down on it enough.
Awareness.
Awareness.
Tremendous sense of awareness, which is not with you or me perhaps, or with you perhaps, I don't know. Tremendously aware of what's happening around the world, which is marvelous today. So that gap which was there between an Indian student and a foreign student is no more there today. They're as aware as what a guy in New York or London would be today. Perhaps more aware.
Interesting. One sentence that belongs in every admission essay that you've seen or should be there.
One sentence that belongs in every admission essay. Wow, that's quite tricky. I don't think I could say there's one sentence which would be in every admission essay.
Or one central message that should belong.
Should belong or is belonging so far what people write?
Yeah.
I think...
should belong, like you've seen so many. And
I think is bringing out your passion. Sometime back, I published this book called 101 Essays that got Indian students into Ivy League and Stanford.
Right.
You see that book, the passion comes out. I think that's very, very important.
Clearly.
Passion. And I think writing your essays simply, be very anecdotal, bring out your passion, I would say, and make it simple. Don't like flowery language and don't use ChatGPT. They can make it right away, I would say.
Now I think they have softwares to figure that out.
Absolutely do.
One university trend families should be careful about.
Go to the right college. Be happy where your child goes to. Don't aspire for things which your child can't aspire for, because what happens is that rejection will put him backwards than where he is today. So go to a right fit college, get the right list of colleges, and allow your child to be happy. And don't throw your aspirations to your child that you wanted to go to Ivy League school, so he has to go to Ivy League school.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Viral sir.
Pleasure.
For bringing so much clarity and wisdom in this conversation. I think parents and students and the educators who are listening to this conversation, they will be in a deep gratitude, towards you for, sort of demystifying some of these confusions and dilemmas that they're carrying in their mind. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
giving us this
My
clarity.
pleasure. My
Thank you.
pleasure.